$6. That's it. One cloudy plastic bottle off the bottom shelf, the one nobody ever reaches for. It's a quiet Saturday morning, coffee going cold in my hand. I'm standing on the back step, looking out at grass I've poured money into for years, and it's yellow, thin, tired, bald in the places I walk the most. I did everything the bag told me. I bought the heavy sack of granules with the 3 big numbers on the front. I spread it, I watered it in, I waited, nothing. Or worse. A scorched brown streak right where the spreader overlapped. Here's the thing that finally broke me. The greenest patch in my whole yard was the back corner I never touched, never fed, never spent a single dime on it. That corner is what started this whole investigation. Because I got sick of the garden aisle quietly taking $40 out of my pocket every spring and handing me back the same dead ground. That aisle is the quiet villain in this story. And by the end, I'm going to show you exactly who profits when your lawn keeps failing. So let me ask you something before we go any further. What if that expensive bag isn't really feeding your lawn at all? What if most of it never even reaches the roots? Hold that thought. Here's what I found, and I've split it into 2 parts. Part 1 is why your lawn is starving even while you keep feeding it. Part 2 is why the soil underneath refuses to hold on to anything you give it. And then, right at the end, there's one last thing, a free, old method the industry can never put in a bag. It's the real reason I made this video. I'm not naming it yet, but once you see it, you won't buy fertilizer the same way again. Part 1 is the one that stings the most because it's the one you repeat every single spring. You feed your lawn, and it barely reacts. I want to start here because feeding is where all your money goes. So here's a small question that bothered me for weeks. Why does a lawn turn green after a good rain faster than it does after you fertilize? Think about what you instinctively do. You buy the granular fertilizer, you spread it across the grass, you water it in, and you wait for the color to come back. It feels completely logical. It's what the label tells you to do, word for word. But here is the truth. Those little granules can't do anything sitting on top of your soil. Grass doesn't eat solid pellets. Roots can only drink nitrogen once it's dissolved in water in a form called nitrate or ammonium. Until that granule breaks down, warms up, and gets processed by soil life, it's just a rock sitting in the dirt, and a huge share of it never makes it into your grass at all. Extension research is blunt about this. On many lawns, close to half of the nitrogen in a granular feeding is lost. It washes past the roots when you water. It runs off into the storm drain. It gasses off into the air on a hot day. You paid for a full pound, and your grass might see half of it. Most people think they're feeding their lawn, but what's actually happening is they're feeding the storm drain. That's the moment it clicked for me. So let me show you the correct way, starting with the cheapest thing on the shelf. The simplest fix is that $6 bottle I mentioned. Plain, clear, household ammonia, no scent, no soap, no additives. Here's why it works when the bag doesn't. Ammonia is already ammonium nitrogen, fully dissolved in the exact form your grass drinks. There's no waiting, no breaking down, no microbes required to unlock it. You pour it in, and it's ready. You dilute it hard. About 1 ounce of clear ammonia into 1 gallon of water, and that gallon covers a small patch. Always go light, always mix it well, and put it down in the cool of the evening onto grass that's already damp, then rinse it in with a little water. Done that way, the blades and the roots pull it in within hours, not weeks. That 1 bottle can feed thousands of square feet for the price of a coffee. Now, why has nobody told you this? This is where the villain starts to show its face. Think about what a store needs. A granular bag is shelf stable. It stacks on a pallet, it ships dry and cheap. It sits in a warehouse for 2 years without spoiling, and it carries a fat markup. A liquid nitrogen feed you can mix at home for pennies, fits, none of that. It can't be branded, it can't be marked up, and it can't be sold to you again next month. So it quietly disappears from the advice you're given. You're not losing money because you're careless. You're losing money because the cheapest thing that actually works was never put in front of you. And if you want to go even deeper into these methods, the full system, not just the highlights, I put together something that lays it all out in one place. It's called the Amish Lawn Guide, and it's part of a complete set that includes the Amish Soil Guide and the Complete Amish Yard Field Edition. These books pull together the old, proven knowledge that never made it onto the store shelf, the whole mechanism, step by step, season by season. You can find the link in the description, and the full set is available for $97. If this video is opening your eyes, the books will take you the rest of the way. But here's where it gets deeper, and here's the tension I couldn't shake. Feeding a lawn works only if the soil can hold the food, and on most tired lawns, it can't. Pouring nutrients into dead, packed soil is like pouring water into a bucket full of holes. It doesn't matter how good the water is, which brings me to part 2, and a completely different problem hiding underneath the first one. Your soil isn't hungry, it's suffocating. That's the blunt truth almost nobody says out loud. You keep adding food to the top, but underneath, the living engine that's supposed to process that food is choked out and gasping. Here's the universal mistake in this second world. You treat the surface and ignore what's below it. Year after year, foot traffic, mowers, and rain pack the soil down into a hard crust. Air can't get in, water beads up and runs off instead of soaking down. And the tiny living things in the soil, the bacteria and fungi that turn nutrients into a form roots can actually use, start to die off. Here's the part that made me angry. The salt in a lot of synthetic fertilizer makes it worse. Those quick green products are basically concentrated salts. Salt pulls moisture out of soil life the same way it pulls moisture out of a slug. So the very product you buy to help your lawn is slowly sterilizing the ground and hardening it, which means next season you need even more product to get the same weak result. That's not a bug. For the people selling it, that's the whole business model. A dependent lawn is a repeat customer. So let me give you the fixes, cheapest first, exactly the way I worked through them. Method 1 is the one that shocked me most because it costs about $4 and lives in your kitchen. Blackstrap molasses. Grass doesn't eat sugar, but soil bacteria devour it. Mix a few ounces of molasses into a gallon of warm water until it fully dissolves, then spread it over your soil. You're not feeding the grass. You're feeding the microbes. Give them that carbon, and they multiply fast, and as they multiply, they crack open the locked up nutrients already sitting in your soil and hand them to the roots. It's the difference between a dead factory and one running full shift. Method 2 costs nothing but a little sweat. You break the crust. On a small lawn, a simple garden fork will do it. Push it in, rock it back, and pull it out every few inches across the worst areas until you've opened holes 3 to 4 inches deep. On a bigger lawn, rent a core aerator that pulls plugs out of the ground. This is the part everyone skips because it isn't sold in a shiny jug, but this is what lets air, water, and your cheap liquid feed finally reach the root zone instead of sitting on a sealed surface. Aerate, then feed, in that order. The difference is night and day. Method 3 is what I'd reach for on the worst, most beaten down ground, and it ties the whole thing together. You brew a simple microbe tea, take a shovel of good living compost, wrap it in cloth, and let it steep in a bucket of water overnight, stirring it now and then to keep air in it. What you're doing is breeding billions of the exact microbes your dead soil is missing, then pouring that living army straight onto the ground. Combine that tea with your molasses to feed it and your ammonia to feed the grass, and you've rebuilt the entire underground engine for a few dollars without a single bag from the store. I want to stop here for 1 second because this is the point where most people finally understand what's been done to them. If this is opening your eyes the way it opened mine, subscribe right now. This channel exists for people who are done being sold the same failure every spring and want the mechanism the industry keeps fuzzy. That's the whole mission. One click and you're in. Now let me give you the best part, because here's what kept nagging me through all of this. The liquid feed fixes the food. The molasses and the fork fix the soil, but I still had to do all of it again and again, season after season. There had to be one thing to stop the whole cycle from starting. And when I finally found it, I realized it had been hiding in plain sight for 100 years. Part 3, prevention, and this is the one the whole investigation was built around. Stop bagging your grass clippings. Leave them on the lawn. That's it. That's the secret the industry can never sell you, because it's already yours and it's already free. Here's why it works. And the mechanism is beautiful. Fresh grass clippings are roughly 4% nitrogen by dry weight, along with potassium and phosphorus. When you bag them and haul them away, you are literally carrying your fertilizer to the curb and throwing it in the bin. When you leave them, they break down within days and return that nitrogen straight to the soil. Over a full season, those clippings give back the equivalent of about 1 full fertilizer feeding, roughly 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet, for free. On top of that, they feed the same soil microbes we just worked so hard to rebuild. The tool is nothing. A mulching mower is ideal, but on most mowers you just pull the bag off and let the clippings fall. Cut when the grass is dry, keep your blade high, around 3 inches, and take only the top third at a time so the clippings are small enough to vanish into the lawn. That's the entire method. Now here's the hero's journey of this little trick, and it's the part that made me shake my head. For centuries, before there was a single bag of lawn food on any shelf, this is simply what people did. A meadow cut with a scythe dropped its clippings right where they fell and fed itself year after year, forever. Nobody hauled it away. Nobody bought nitrogen in a sack. The lawn fed the lawn. Then the products arrived. And to sell you a bag of fertilizer every spring, someone had to convince you that the free thing was harmful. So they told you clippings cause thatch. They told you clippings make your lawn dirty and diseased. It isn't true. Clippings are mostly water and they break down too fast to build thatch. But the myth did its job. It got the free method out of your hands and put a $40 bag into them instead. The quiet part is that the method never died. Old gardeners kept doing it because they knew, and now you know it too. Leaving your clippings can save you the cost of 1 full fertilizer application every single year, call it $40 to $50, plus every bag you'd have hauled and every Saturday you'd have wasted doing it. So which approach is right for you? If you've got a small, tidy yard and you just want it green, keep it simple, leave your clippings, and hit it with the cheap ammonia feed a few times in the growing season. That's all you need. If you've got a large lawn that's gone thin and tired, put your effort into aeration and the molasses to wake the soil back up, then let the clippings maintain it. And if your ground is heavy clay, packed hard from years of traffic, do the full rebuild once. Aerate, brew the microbe tea, feed with the liquid, and then leave every clipping from that day forward to keep it alive. Now, here's the new problem you're about to create for yourself, and I'd be lying if I didn't warn you. Once you start feeding cheap and leaving your clippings, your lawn is going to grow fast. Thick and fast, the way it's supposed to. And a thick, fast lawn brings the one thing everyone whispers about and nobody explains properly: thatch. That spongy layer between the green and the soil that can choke a healthy lawn if you let it build. Manage it wrong and you'll undo everything you just fixed. If that's the fight you can already see coming, I want you to leave a comment with one word. Type the word thatch. Just that. It tells me you're ready for the next layer, and it tells me how many of you are hitting the same wall. Because that's what this whole thing has really been about. Somebody took the simple, free knowledge your grandfather used and quietly replaced it with a bag you have to buy again every spring. Today, you took it back. My next video exposes exactly how to beat thatch without renting a machine or tearing your lawn apart, using the same mechanism first approach and another cheap thing the aisle would rather you never find. So subscribe right now so it lands in front of you the moment it goes live. Don't let them sell you the next failure. I'll see you there. I'm glad you're still here with me. This video gave you the overview, but there's more I couldn't fit in. Inside the Amish Garden Circle, you can ask me your own questions, and a real person, me, answers you myself. You'll belong among old ways gardeners just like you. Just point your phone's camera at the code on the screen, and you can cancel anytime with one click. Now that your lawn is thriving, let's tackle those stubborn weeds. In the next video, I'll show you how to clear away dandelions in just one day. Stay right here. It's about to start.